In this video, I want to take you through the steps I took in designing and fabricating a medium-sized anvil weighing around 50 kilos. So I first created a model of the anvil in a program that I use for work called Tekla. This was just to get my head around the dimensions and the sizes, and I can actually make drawings of the parts that I need to cut out, which is obviously very handy than just doing them off the cuff. The top plate would be 15mm high carbon steel. The body and the small bit of steel that's highlighted to make up the hardy hole is 50mm thick plate, and these two stiffeners at the back they're only 10mm, but they were just an added support just in case the welds weren't quite good enough. The horn you won't see in this video. I've left enough space to potentially add it later on, but first we need to cut the plates. So you can see already that the three main plates for the body have been cut out. This is currently the small piece for the hardy hole and the pritchel holes. This is big, thick, chunky material. It's 50mm thick, but you can do this by hand. You know, if you have a propane burner or an oxyacetylene burner or something like that, you'd manage to do it by hand. You don't necessarily need a massive machine like this one. It would just take a while. After it's finished cutting the parts that it has to cut, it slices off the excess of the plate that's not needed anymore. So this bit at the end with the holes in it is scrap, which means it's good for me to use. So the plates come off the machine with all this slag or dross attached to them. This is just melted steel, which is still stuck to the part, which hasn't yet been blown away. It's easy enough to grind off. It's not like welded to it or anything. It's literally just kind of sitting there stuck. So I took all the plates through to the back workshop where I usually work in, and I decided to fire up the oxypropane torch to try and chamfer the edges to get a really nice deep weld in between them. My first problem was that I never turned the oxygen on. My second problem, however, was that I tried this in the first place. A grinder with a cutting disc is so much easier than using the propane torch. I would notice that you'd get a really nice cut and a really nice cut, and then it would almost fall off the edge, and it was a nightmare to get back on track again and actually start cutting again. So again, if you're doing this and you're following me, don't use the propane torch. Just go straight through it with an angle grinder. It's so much easier. I done as best as I could to get through one plate with the oxypropane torch, just in case maybe I wasn't using the torch properly. I was trying different techniques and what have you, but for the rest of the plates I just went straight to the angle grinder. You'll notice as well how ragged the cut is and how much slag is still stuck to the plate. The angle grinder just went through it so much easier and left a much cleaner cut with less to tidy up at the end. So in my opinion, I would go with an angle grinder, unless you're a propane torch expert, which I am not. I actually missed out a lot of the next couple of steps, purely because my phone battery died. I never got a chance to take a video of it. But all I've done here is weld everything up, and I ground the welds flush because, again, I'm not a good enough welder to make them look pretty. I am, however, a stupid enough welder to do so much tacking without a mask on that I pretty badly burned my face. For those of you that don't know, flash from a welder is just really bad sunburn, so this was irritating and itchy over the next week or so. I took my anvil over to the machine shop across the road and had them mill the top face completely flat. I find it quite interesting though that the coolant or maybe water or something like that that's got on the anvil has only affected the welds. It certainly won't affect the anvil, but I just thought it was quite interesting to see. Next step was to weld on the high carbon top. Here you can clearly see my amazing welding skills. I chamfered the top face and the bottom edges of the high carbon top, again just to get a deeper, better penetration weld. And I then went on to grind everything flat to make it look pretty. And this is where we're at. Everything's welded together, ground flush and ready for heat treating. Currently the high carbon top is annealed, and so it's still in a very soft state, so you'd be better off just using any old random lump of steel as your anvil, otherwise this is just going to bend. But what you'll see in the next video is me heat treating the anvil, and that makes this high carbon top just absolutely rock hard. Maybe too hard. I'll probably temper it just so it's not too brittle, but it should be absolutely rock solid.